Hello friends, this is our fifth lecture on Francis Bacon's essay of friendship, and there we saw that it's very important for a person to have a friend to open his heart. And now we see that even strong kings and princes, they went out of their way to create friendship with lower rank people, people of lower rank. So three such examples is given here. First is Lucius, Sulla and Pompey. Second is Julius Caesar and Brutus. And third is Augustus Caesar and Agrippa. And connected to Agrippa is Maecenas. Augustus Caesar, Agrippa and Maecenas. Maecenas. Understand? Now these names are Latin, and so you read and write in the same way. I have told you already that Latin is a phonetic language. That means you write and read in the same way. Now let's say how the whole thing happened. Three stories we can say. First is the story of Sulla and Pompey. Second is the story of Julius Caesar and Brutus. The third is the story of Agrippa, Augustus and Agrippa. Now you say sentence number 14. Else Sulla, when he commanded Rome, so he was a general and he was a statesman, raised Pompey. Look at that. He was of lower rank, but he raised him to a higher rank after surnamed the Great, after called the Great. After some day, he raised him to a higher level and he was later called the Great. To that height means become great. That height means that level. A lower rank person raised to a higher level. That Pompey wanted himself for Sulla's overmatch. So he boasted that he was better than Sulla. Look at that. Sulla was in dire need of a friend, and he found Pompey as a friend. He raised him to a higher level. What happened is, he turned against him and challenged him. For when he had carried the consulship for a friend of his against the pursuit of Sulla, Pompey had a friend Lepidus. Name of Pompey's friend was Lepidus. And Lepidus was not favored by Sulla. But Pompey supported Lepidus to the level of, or to raise him to the level of a consul of Rome. But Sulla said, no, I don't like him. But he said, you don't worry, it's my business. So he challenged him. So when he had carried the consulship for a friend of his against the pursuit of Sulla, he means Pompey. Pompey supported the consulship of Lepidus against the wish of Sulla, and that Sulla did a recent threat, began to speak Greek. Pompey turned upon him again and in effect bade him quiet. Asked him, be quiet. Please keep your mouth shut, he said. Who said? Pompey said. Whom? To Sulla. Sulla is superior and he was inferior, but he raised him to consulship. Then Pompey wanted Lepidus to become a consul. This was not liked by Sulla. When Sulla asked, why are you doing like this? Then he said, keep your mouth shut. Then what else more? He said, for that more men adored the sun rising than the sun setting. Pompey challenged, or he boasted that I am rising sun, you are setting sun. I am sun, yes you can. My prestige is going up and up. Yours is going down and down. So please keep quiet. So we saw now in the previous lecture, some kings, princes and emperors, even at the risk of putting themselves into inconvenience, raised some people to their level, and as it happened in the case of Sulla and Pompey challenged him, and he said that, look, I am the rising sun, you are the setting sun. See that? But even then, he raised him to the level of his friend. Another story is that of Julius Caesar and Brutus. 716, with Julius Caesar, Decimus Brutus had attained that interest. Julius Caesar, Brutus was, of course, Julius Caesar was, as we know, all-powerful, the mighty man of Rome. Isn't it? Actually what happened is, he did not name himself emperor, but he was de facto emperor of Rome. And then he raised Brutus to his level, to become his friend. And what happened? Decimus Brutus had attained that interest. That interest means friend of Julius Caesar, or the favorite of Julius Caesar. As he set him down in his testament, in his will, he set him down. Julius Caesar made a will before his death. In that will, he wrote like this: after the reign of Augustus Caesar, my nephew, he will be who? Brutus would take over as the ruler of Rome. So immediately after death of Julius Caesar made a will before his death, saying that, written down, saying that after my death, Octavius Caesar will become the ruler of Rome, and after that, Decimus Brutus will become the ruler of Rome. So up to that level, understand? Caesar laid down his testament for heir in the remainder after his nephew. Julius Caesar's nephew was Octavius Caesar. So after Octavius Caesar, who will rule Rome? Rome will be ruled by Decimus Brutus according to the will written by Julius Caesar. So close they were. And this was the man that had power with him to draw him forth to his death. Look at that. He had that much power over Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar, Shakespeare's drama, Ides of March. The soothsayer predicted that beware of Ides of March. And in addition to that, the day before, Caesar had to attend the Senate. Calpurnia, that is wife of Caesar, Calpurnia, name of the wife of Caesar, had a bad dream. She saw that from the statue of Caesar, blood was gushing forth. So just before going to the Senate, Calpurnia said, Caesar, please do not attend the Senate today, that is 15th of March, that is Ides of March. So he thought, I will not go today. Because he also remembered the prediction of the soothsayer, beware of Ides of March. And now comes another bad omen. And that bad omen is, his wife says, last night I had a dream. And in the dream I saw your statue, and from your statue blood was gushing forth. For when Caesar would have discharged the Senate, Caesar would have said, today Senate, he declared a holiday for the Senate. Understand? Why? In regard of some ill presages. Ill presages means bad omens. And especially a dream of Calpurnia. Calpurnia, his wife. This man lifted him gently by the arm. Greatly by the arm. See? So Caesar was sitting in his at home. He said, I don't want to attend the Senate tomorrow. Today, that is 15th March. It's not good. I am not well, suffering from cold. So please go. And not only, he opened his heart to him, saying that my wife had a very bad dream last night. My wife saw that my statue, and from the statue the blood was gushing. But he came in search of Decimus Brutus, because they had planned to assassinate him that day. So he came. He's so close from us, yet too brutal, in the Julius Caesar, the drama, Shakespeare has written now, yet too brutal. When Brutus stabbed from behind, he said, yet too brutal, and you too Brutus. And that has become very famous. That is that is saying, yes. So attain that interest. And then he said, and this was the man that had power with him to draw him forth this to his death. For when Caesar would have discharged the Senate, in regard of some presages, bad woman, because of, in regard means because of, and especially, a dream of Calpurnia, his wife, this man lifted him greatly by the arm out of his chair. He said, come on, Caesar. Said, telling him he hoped he would not dismiss the Senate till his wife have dreamed a better dream. When Brutus, Cassius also, when Brutus conspirators, when they reached Senate, they got the message that today Caesar won't be attending the Senate. The whole plan will be, whether they won't be able to execute their plan, this conspiracy. So everybody knew that Brutus was a very close friend of Julius Caesar. So Brutus, they asked Brutus, you go, I'm calling. Go and tell him, say, make some excuse and bring him back. So Brutus went to Caesar's palace, gently lifted him by the arm and said, come on, you are a great man. Why should you bother about such kind of bad omens? Would you wait till your wife have a better dream to attend the Senate? Then Caesar thought, hey, why? I am such a coward. And Caesar, in the drama he says, no, Caesar says, cowards die many times, but the valiant dies only once. So when he heard this, he felt bad. I, such a great man, a powerful person, so courageous, who fought battles here in France, Gallic wars of Caesar, very famous, Gaul, G-A-U-L, Gaul. Once upon a time, France was called Gaul. So Gallic wars of Caesar. He said, Brutus said, hey, what? Hey Caesar, you, such a brave man, you had to wait for a good dream to be seen by your wife to attend the Senate? Come away. So he went, then you know what happened. So another story of inconvenience, because Caesar raised Brutus to the level of his favorite or a friend. Even he had made his will that after Augustus Caesar, who would rule Rome? Rome would be ruled by Decimus Brutus. Then you know what happened in the Senate? They mercilessly stabbed him to death. And it seemed his favor was so great as Antonius. Julius Caesar and Antony, Mark Antony, they were great friends. So, to that level, equal to Antony, Mark Antony, Decimus Brutus was raised. And it seemed his favor was so great as Antonius, in a letter which he recited verbatim, word by word, in one of Cicero's Philippics. Cicero, Roman statesman and orator, great orator, as great as Demosthenes of Athens. And Cicero's Philippics, Demosthenes attacked or criticized Philip of Macedon, king of Macedon, in his speeches. So those speeches were called Philippics. Like that, Cicero attacked Antony. Cicero and Antony, they were in a way enemies, you can say. And so, verbatim in one of Cicero's Philippics, called him Venefica Brutus. Cicero called Brutus Venefica, a sinner, as much as if he had enchanted Caesar. Venefica or witch, W-I-T-C-H, as much as he enchanted Caesar. Enchanted Caesar means Brutus had such power, such influence on Julius Caesar, that he acted according to Cicero, he was a beneficia or a witch. Understand that? Witches in Bible, yes. Witch. To attract him, enchant him, to attract Caesar, and to take him to the Senate. Understand? So here what happened? This is a story of two friends. Julius Caesar wanted him to be his friend, wanted him to be his successor. But then what happened is that he betrayed him. Listen, he betrayed him. He assassinated him. He and his conspirators assassinated him. That's why Cicero, in one of his Philippics means a series of speeches or orations, the content of which is invectives, means strong criticism against Mark Antony. Now this strong criticism, any strong criticism against any person is called Philippics, because Demosthenes, the Athenian orator, he used strong words to attack Philip of Macedon. So Philip, from there comes Philippics. So any attack on any leader, any invective, a speech full of invective, means bad remarks and attack, you can say. That's called Philippics. So in this case, what happened is, and it seemeth his favor was so great as Antonius. Brutus and Antony, they had the same level of relationship with Caesar. In a letter which he recited verbatim in one of Cicero's Philippics, called him beneficia, or a witch, as if he had enchanted Caesar. See that another story of Caesar and Brutus. Caesar raised Brutus to the level of his closest friend, and to such an extent that he would rule Rome after Octavius Caesar, according to the will made by Julius Caesar. But what happened to Brutus? He acted as a witch. He was a beneficia, a witch. He had such power to enchant him, attract Caesar to take him to the Senate. And the story we know, Brutus and his conspirators assassinated Caesar. Then another story that even Augustus and Agrippa. Octavius Caesar ruled Rome after the death of Julius Caesar. Octavius Caesar, and then what happened is Augustus raised Agrippa. Octavius Caesar, that is, he was known as Augustus. So Augustus Caesar raised Agrippa. That is, you can see, though of mean birth, Agrippa was of mean birth, means lower rank, low class. To that height means a friend of Octavius Caesar, as when he consulted Maecenas about the marriage of his daughter. Maecenas was the friend of Octavius Caesar. And Octavius Caesar had only just one daughter, and Julia. He wanted to arrange the marriage of Julia to some great man. So Octavius Caesar asked his friend Maecenas, now what do you think? Who would be the right person for my daughter? Then Maecenas said, either you give your daughter in marriage to Agrippa, or they said, what did he say? Your daughter, marriage of his daughter Julia. Maecenas took the liberty to tell him that he must either marry his daughter to Agrippa or take away his life. But there was no third way. He had made him so great. Octavius Caesar made a low-ranking person, Agrippa, to his level, raised him to his level. And Octavius Caesar, that is Augustus Caesar, he had to give Julia in marriage he had to arrange the marriage of Julia to Julia. Then what happened is that naturally he asked his friend Maecenas. Maecenas was a patron of arts. So he was the patron of Virgil, the poet Virgil, and also Horace. And he asked Maecenas, what do you think about my daughter's marriage? Where should I find the bridegroom? Then Maecenas had so much of liberty with Augustus Caesar. Maecenas said, either you give your daughter to Agrippa, because you have raised him to such a level, or he said that there was no third way. He had made him so great. Or take away his life, he says. Either you give your daughter in say, either you arrange this marriage with your daughter's marriage to Agrippa, or you take away his life, he says. Kill him. There is no third way, because you have raised him to that level. Again, there is another case of a great man or an emperor meeting with a very difficult situation in his life because he raised a person to the level of his friend, that is Agrippa. So there are three stories here. In lecture 4 we saw strong-minded kings and princes, they went out of their way to make friends with lower rank people because friendship was so important for them. The fullness and swellings of the heart they had to share. So from Roman history, Francis Bacon was well versed. He had gone through probably the entire history of Rome, histories of emperors, history of the Republic of Rome, history of the Empire of Rome, understand, emperors of Rome, great leaders of Rome, and then he says there are many examples like this, where great kings and princes who have got very strong mind, they went after people who were below their rank and made them friends, because of which they put themselves into inconvenience and in awkward situations. First one we saw Sulla and Pompey. And Pompey challenged Sulla. Second one we saw Decimus Brutus and Julius Caesar. And what happened, Julius Caesar was assassinated by Decimus Brutus and his conspirators. And third we saw here, that is Augustus Caesar and Agrippa. Agrippa was of lower rank, but he raised him to the level of his friend or favorite. As a result, what happened? When he was searching for a bridegroom for his daughter, only daughter Julia, he asked his friend Maecenas, the one who was patron of Virgil and Horace, what should I do? Whom should I marry my daughter? Then he said, there is no other way but to you accept your daughter's bridegroom, Agrippa, accept him, because you have raised him such a level. He cannot marry any other person in your empire, because all the others are lower than him. You have raised him to the level of your friend. So all what you can do is, you have to have that status. He is the only person with the status who is qualified to marry your daughter. So either you give her in marriage to him, or you take away his life. Then you find another person. Maecenas said. Again you see, Octavius Caesar, that is Augustus Caesar, he brought his own misfortune, you can say, or his own bad luck, or his own inconvenience, because he raised Agrippa to the level of his friends. So three stories from Roman history itself. First, Sulla and Pompey. Pompey challenged Sulla. Caesar and Brutus. Brutus assassinated Caesar. Then Augustus and Agrippa. Agrippa became so great that there is no other person in Rome, no other person as great as Agrippa, qualified to marry his daughter, Augustus Caesar's daughter Julia. So Maecenas when Augustus Caesar consulted his friend Maecenas about the marriage of his only daughter, he said, either there is only one person here qualified. See, status. So either you give her in marriage to him or take away his life. There is no third way. Because he said, you had made him so great. But even then, these great kings and emperors, they wanted friends. For what? To open their heart. To share the fullness and swellings of their heart. As we have seen, when your certain organs of your body stop, say your liver, your brain, your spleen, then your body will go out of gear. Just like that. When your mind shut, nobody to share your views, then your mind will go out of gear and you will become a mad person. Therefore what happens, says the principal fruit of friendship is to share the fullness and swellings of your heart, without which you cannot survive. So no friend, no life. Bye.